Alright everyone, we start off today with more damning revelations with regards to the Twitter files scandal. This is separate from the releases we're seeing on Twitter with regards to US intel, the FBI, the CIA, foreign intel, censorship requests by government officials, etc., including as part of political campaigning, which is being investigated currently. By the way, we'll give McCarthy's House Republicans credit for one thing. An attempt at least is being made. A lot of people were blackpilled that they would even convene meetings and investigations into these sorts of things. So, while nothing specific has come out of it yet, at least they're trying. That's more than many people expected. The GOP, normally not very good at even bothering to try. Say that they'll do it. They might get to it partially and half-assedly a year later. Intel agencies got access not only to the ability to talk to Twitter to try to get people censored, to try to get posts removed, to try to algorithmically demote users, etc. Elon Musk claiming the other day that they also got access to people's direct messages. Not pertinent to warrants. That is like legal investigation. Well, we consider this user to be potentially a terrorist. We've got a warrant. We're looking through their electronic communications because we think they might be talking to ISIS agents and planning to blow something up. Well, okay, there's a process for that. Otherwise, you're violating the right to privacy. Some people will come out and simp for the government and for the invasion of privacy that this represents by saying it's a private company. It can do whatever it wants. Well, now let me give you an analogous or semi-analogous situation comparable to this. The U.S. mail is, of course, you're protected when you're using the U.S. mail. Generally speaking, it's illegal to read your letters, etc. The Fourth Amendment protects your mail correspondence and email correspondence and all other digital communications. Competent companies, by the way, respect this. Twitter, up until Elon took over, not a competent company, it sounds like, for many years. But what if you were to use FedEx or something like that? You use a delivery service that's not the actual U.S. mail itself. Can they randomly go through what you're doing or give access to, some cop shows up and says, I want to read their letter. No, they would say, well, okay, if you have a warrant, then, of course, you can read the letter. It's pertinent to an investigation or something. They can't just barge in and demand to do so. When on rare occasions things like that happen, it usually triggers a lawsuit. So why should a private company that is carrying communication in effectively the same form, which is DMs, it's not public material that's being posted, these are private communications. The Fourth Amendment broadly applies to them. And I believe that there is existing case law with regards to this, at least situationally. Anyway, beyond that, let's say that, yes, okay, Twitter has the right to unilaterally cooperate with a non-investigation because a politician wants to see what his opponent is saying to his 10 mistresses or whatever. Okay, that's perfectly fine. While it can happen, even if you establish that it's not illegal, which potentially it could be, is it right? Is it ethical? Is it in keeping with the principles of the founding document called the U.S. Constitution, which contains a fairly broadly worded right to privacy in general? No, it doesn't make it right. Sometimes things can be legal but wrong. Segregation was legal for a while. Sometimes things can be illegal but be perfectly fine. You shouldn't get arrested, for example, for drug possession or jaywalking or something like that. The intel agencies got more than we originally anticipated. Now, I wish I could say I'm surprised at this. In fact, speculated that this happens on a routine basis. It should not happen. It should be construed as unlawful and definitely is unethical. But it would surprise me if it hadn't been happening. Why? Because it was enabled to happen. If you don't have encryption on those messages so they can be pulled up, look, you don't even need Twitter itself at the managerial level necessarily to pull the messages. Somebody could work around. They simply know a reasonably high-level Twitter employee, not part of management or anything, just part of the security team or something. Because there's no encryption, they could get into your messages too. In fact, I would be surprised if there aren't former Twitter employees with troves of messages from people that they personally just don't like, waiting to dump them online. I've worried for years that this might be the case with many of these sites. disgruntled employee, politically motivated individual, spy, subversive from another nation. China's definitely infiltrated these companies, has all sorts of user data, and is waiting to use that data should they run for office, should they become really powerful and start influencing politics or something, in order to nudge. Just look at, what was it? Was it Ashley Madison years ago? You know, one of those porn sites, and they they managed to leak a shit ton of information about people who were cheating effectively, using a site explicitly for getting tail on the side. And they leaked a bunch of material there, and some of those people were, you know, fairly high level. I don't think the full leaks ever went through. Anyway, that's always a risk. And by the way, what you think is private communication, unless it's pen and paper and you've got it in an envelope sent by the U.S. mail to another person, can be monitored. There is no 100% way to make sure that that's impossible, although, you know, encryption helps at least on that particular end at Twitter itself. It can't be queried directly. Then if your political opponent wants to read what you're doing on Twitter, they have to try to do a phishing scam and get a keylogger on you or something so they can just log into your account or whatever. By the way, Twitter security capable of compensating for that reasonably. Security on Twitter is all right. It doesn't seem to be. It's better now probably under Musk. I'm sure they've tinkered with the code more than they even let on publicly. Keep in mind, this is just what the public is allowed to know. There may be other shit that happened at Twitter before Elon Musk that he knows about that is pertinent to, you know, legal ongoing shit, and they can't even tell you about it. Some of it may be privileged. By the way, that's another example. Let's say you're allowing the free-for-all reading of people's private messages. Some of those messages could be protected potentially by attorney-client. It could be between the person who's a lawyer and a client. It could be proprietary business material. It could be sending files that contain material that's being developed by a company or something like that. I don't think that generally they would use Twitter DM for that, but the fact that it's a possibility would at least make the potential for an explicit violation of not just the Fourth Amendment, but other attendant laws as well. So this is fairly damning. It's good that Musk acquired the company. Now we are seeing all the dysfunction that was there. It looks like basically they turned it into a censorship machine and didn't care if it even ever ran at a profit. Musk is attempting to fix that. It's a gargantuan effort. We'll see exactly how successful in the end he really is. P.S. Please fix community notes because it's having fucking issues. That's about all. Peace out.